96 Test Wing, Brigadier General Scott A. Kane.
Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I want to start by just giving some of my own thanks. First of all, welcome to the Osbornes and the family and friends that are watching with us today. I'd also like to welcome any of our community members and thank you for watching. Our 96th Civil Engineer Group and the 96th Test Wing and Team Eglin, and all those commanders and senior NCEOs out there that are joining us that know just how important the 96th Civil Engineer Group is to Team Eglin. I'd also like to thank my PA team and protocol and CEG for putting on another new normal ceremony so that we can uphold this important tradition and mark this momentous occasion for the CE group. I, last but not least, have to thank the chaplain for creative and entertaining and meaningful blessing for the ceremony today. I have one other thank you that I want to give, which is a little different from a assumption of command. We don't have an outgoing commander, and that's why we have this assumption of command, but I do need to thank Mark Schluter, the Deputy Civil Engineering Group Commander, for what he has done in what is one of the most difficult times we've had to lead in the Air Force, in my experience. And in those circumstances where he was thrust into the leadership position, has just done an incredible job of leading the CE group and taking care of Team Eglin during a very challenging time. So always keeping an eye on the future like Mark does so well too, so thank you, Mark. I'd like to start my brief comments like I usually do with a quote. And this one's from John F. Kennedy, and he said that change is the law of life, and those that only look to the past or present are certain to miss the future. So the future is going into the hands of Colonel Kevin Oz Osborne for the CE group. Oz comes to us as an eminently qualified officer for this job. He has a broad experience in civil engineering at the squadron level, deployed multiple times as a civil engineer in support of many contingencies since the early 2000s. He has led twice at the squadron command level. He is highly educated, both academically and through professional military education, as an Air Command and Staff College graduate and as a graduate of the Air War College, where he actually was a Air University Fellow and instructed. And he comes to us with a wonderful family as well. He's just the perfect person, a perfect leader for the CE group at just the right time when we need him most. Oz, you're also taking over a almost 1,000-person strong CE group at the largest installation in the Air Force, which I would think would be a civil engineer's dream, actually. But the even better part of it is you're taking over a dream team. If you look at the slate of awards, the 96 CEG has won over the years, but in 2019, everything from Firefighters of the Year to the Outstanding Civil Engineer Unit Award at the Air Force level. And I know you've got a couple of Squadron of the Years at the MAGCOM level under your belt, so the challenge is yours, and I'm sure you're up to it. But you've got an incredible team who's going to accomplish anything that you ask them to do. And your vision and where you take this team is what I'd like to focus on. What we do at Eglin Air Force Base, the mission that we have here, from developing armaments all the way to training the next generation of warfighters in support of the National Defense Strategy, requires an installation that can continue to support those missions. We have a vision that's called Next Gen Eglin, and it's much more than just recapitalizing the infrastructure that we have at Eglin, which we definitely need to do. But it's a vision about the synchronization and the synergy that you can get when you join the community, the government, industry, and academia in a way that makes us a premier center for development and accomplishing those missions that support the NDS. And we have a plan on the shelf to do that, but it's really more than just a plan. it's a vision of where Eglin is going as one of the premier installations in the DoD. Our West Side development is the next step in that, where we bring all those teams together to try to achieve that vision. But it's over to you to make it happen. I'll close my brief comments today with another quote that'll guide you a little further, which is from Henry Ford, who said that if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. And this time, what we've done in the past or how we have done it isn't necessarily going to get that vision accomplished or make that vision a reality. So go seek out ways to make that happen. Seek out ways to lead the team and resource them to that vision, and I look forward to seeing how you make that happen along with the other vision I know you have for this base and your group. So welcome to you and Jess and the family. Publish the orders.
Department of the Air Force, Headquarters, United States Air Force, Washington, D.C. Special Order Number ED 20-167, by order of the Commander, 96 Test Wing. Colonel Kevin J. Osborne is appointed Commander, 96 Civil Engineer Group, 96 Test Wing, Eglin Air Force Base, Florida, effective 21 July 2000.
Center, face.
Sir, I assume command.
Face, front.
Thank you, General King. Pleased to present the 96 Civil Engineering Commander, Colonel Kevin Osborne.
First of all, I'd like to thank Chaplain Lister for the great invocation, inspiring words, and to know that an engineer, the noun wizard, I hope I live up to that. And as I look at chaplain, if I probably found that, it'd probably be a verb and it'd be amazing. So thank you, Chaplain Lister. Also, I'd like to thank the protocol staff for putting this on, in public affairs, the solid team of the 11 folks here that are keeping Team Eglin moving forward. I'd like to thank also our very own Test Wing, 96 Test Wing Commander, Brigadier General Kane, for his guidance and for officiating this ceremony today. Would be remiss if I didn't get a chance to thank the Team Eglin by forging the sword, and the mission partners are out there. I hope to continue that legacy on here, following the footsteps of Colonel John Schuliger. And you can't be remiss without our private partnerships off base in the community. So I like to reach out to the Tri-County area and the 11 city regions that are out there to say, hey, I'm looking forward to partnering with you as we take Team Eglin to the next level. And then I wouldn't be remiss if I didn't thank my very own 96 Civil Engineer Group. So thank you, Lieutenant Rob Nero, for the great narrating itself, and for Teresa Ray for being the grease behind the wheels to make this event happen. Everybody else that supported her that I'm not even aware of as of right now. So I've got some big shoes to fill. I've been following the footsteps of Colonel John Schuliger. And as you know, John, his feet are pretty large and mine are pretty small. So I'm going to need some help from not only the 96 CEG Airmen, but also the mission partners on the base. And I would be remiss if I took John and my heart with the condition that they're both in. They're beating in lock and step. And we both believe in Air Force family, and we both believe in our engineers, and we love them dearly. So thank you, John. Thank you, Megan, for the 12 years of relationships we had since we first met in Hawaii back in 2008. Thank you for the warm reception here to the Emerald Coast. And thank you very much for making this a seamless transition leading up to today. My wife, Jess, and my 3 kids, Boston, Everdeen, and McIntyre, are thrilled to be part of the legacy of the 96 Test Wing and stewards of the Eglin Test Training Complex as we work through the Air Force Test Center and supporting the Air Force Material Command, pushing their armament and testing missions forward. Built on a legacy, engineering for the future. Back in the 1930s, there was a local entrepreneur business leader, James Plew, and an Army Air Corps aviator, Lieutenant Arnold Rich, who had formed a friendship in the 30s down the Valparaiso area, and they came up with a vision, a plan to transform what we know today as Eglin Air Force Base proper. Back then in 1935, when the deed was signed over, it was 1,460 acres and sold to the War Department for $1. At that time, it was 3 wooden structures, 2 runways, 2,000 feet long, 100 feet wide, and was first ran by 1 commanding officer and 15 enlisted. Fast forward to 2020, and working closely with our community partnerships in the Tri-County region and the 11 city region area, we have grown to a plant replacement value of $5.9 billion, 3,256 facilities, 2 runways on Eglin proper at 12,000 feet and 10,000 feet, 300 feet wide, in addition to many other auxiliary fields that are out there, and over 20,000 plus airmen that are working on this field, all supporting 465,000 acres of land. Pretty amazing to see what started back with James Plew, a local entrepreneur in the local community, to what we are today. Reflect, reimagine, reinvest. Similar to what James Plew did back in the 1930s when he reflected on the Great Depression that was hitting the Valparaiso area. He reimagined how he can try to pull the community out of the Depression, and he decided to invest in land and invest in tourism. He took that reflection, that reimagined, he reinvested it to actually build an inn and a golf course. And through his love for aviation, he reached out to the Air Corps Tactical School, ACS, up in Maxwell Field, and befriended some of the lieutenants who would fly down here, and he would allow them to fly and land on his golf course and play golf. But he was working with the partnerships because he wanted to bring the military institution here to build, again, what we know today in 2020 as Eglin Air Force Base. I hope to continue that legacy that he created and engineer for the future. Hope to reflect, look back, understand the past history, and share it forward. Reimagine, looking at complex solutions to complex problems, and then reinvest through that shared understanding and shared knowledge from talking through collaborative relationships to make it better for Team Eglin. I will concentrate on 3 focus areas. 1 will be leadership, personal and professional growth. 2 would be readiness for expeditionary and home station emergency response. And 3 would be installations. Through the Eglin Test and Training Center, it is our weapon systems platform to support air, space, and cyberspace forces and the testing of our armaments here in particular to Eglin. I will be the 23rd Civil Engineer Group Commander, and I hope to continue the vision that James Plew back in the 1930s had for transforming Valparaiso to what we know as of today through his reflection, through reimagining, and through reinvesting. I promise to continue and build on that legacy and engineer for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Osborne. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. We would like to thank you for taking time to join us for this important event and welcome Colonel and Mrs. Osborne to Eglin Air Force Base, and hope everyone has a great morning.